Since you were born, you've been raised to fail by your teachers, by the education system. By the way, my name is Eric and I learned English without having to go to an English academy. So let's get straight to the point. So you know that the education system is setting up to fail for all of us. And one of the first points of this, of why they want us to fail, is because they don't teach us to acquire the language. They just teach us to memorize words, so some isolated words without context, without any emotional feeling or that they impact us. Because some words it doesn't feel anything. When I tell you the word like apple, you're not gonna feel anything, or you're not gonna see the context. But if you learn the language by acquiring the language, by acquiring it, by seeing the context, by listening, repetition, you are gonna stick with some words, especially if you are acquiring the language instead of just memorizing isolated words, because it's truly ineffective doing an isolated word without any context. And so what it's exactly acquiring is basically by doing the comprehensible inputs, immersing yourself, being in environments where English is your life, make your English your lifestyle. Basically make your environment for yourself in a way that you're listening English, you're thinking English, and all of these things, and it's gonna get you stick more in your head, and you're gonna have more confidence when you speak with someone, when you record some videos, when you want to fulfill this exam next in your academy. If you're in an academy English, it's easy for you if you're doing all of these tactics, all of this advice that I'm giving to you. You're gonna get so much results in the job, in your dream job, if you want to travel, make more friends, do networks. All of it comes down to acquiring the language, actually learn the language in a way that it's fun at the same time. So one of the reasons why the English method, the traditional method of learning English is setting up to fail in every area of your life, because you know the benefits of speaking like this, having this vocab in the language, or being pronouncing like this, because you're gonna be able to talk with so many people, meet so many friends, do networks with successful people, travel the world, all of these things, and you're gonna live like the dream life. And you're not gonna achieve that if you keep doing grammar, if you keep doing the same traditional method. And grammar basically is what they will teach you in your academy, basically in every English academy in your country is teaching these things. And so many students, they think that the only way to learn a language is by memorizing some grammar, boring rules, when they don't know this. Basically, you're in the part of the 1% of English learners because you know these secrets, you know these tactics that many of the English Academy students don't know. So you're in a great path, but you have to do it right. And don't don't rely on grammar anymore. Don't just get rid of it and focus on the things that actually matter. And the reason, the real reason behind this is because when you were a baby, when you were a little girl, little boy, you didn't learn those things by memorizing grammar, do you? Because when you first in your first words, you didn't learn it by memorizing this, and this is uh, verbal to be or some bullshit like that. You learn it by context, repetition, and listening. You learn it by your parents because you've been just sat there, very calm, playing as if, dancing, whatever. And you've been listening to your uncles and your parents. You know, they're being talking to each other. You've been listening. You've been acquiring the language by listening. You've been repeating the same words every day because the same words that they use the natives. It's the same. It's the same word. It's the same repetition. They say the same things in the morning. Your parents say things in the afternoon. They say the same things when they're about to sleep. Everything is repeat in your head. You build in this set of vocabs of words that is getting in your head because of repetition, context, real life situations. And that's why you're here. That's why you can just speak without thinking because you're being doing you've been repeated by your parents, some members of your family, listening, acquiring the language, repetition, and it's so super valuable. And this is the only way that you're gonna learn by listening, acquiring the language, but not by doing the normal stuff like grammar and everything. Because, like 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 I said, it's not the way that we learn languages. Just repeat the same tactic that you were using subconsciously when you were a little baby. Just repeat the same chunks of words, um, just with real context. Watch content with real context. Like, for example, this is like a blog or there is some specific video like comprehensive input, and the specific movie that you find interesting in Spanish, turn into English. And you're gonna learn so much more because you know the context and everything. You're gonna assimilate some words because you know the topic, you know what they're talking about. So it's so much more easier to do that than just learning some grammar. It's boring, slow, expensive as well. The third thing, I want to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but I don't care. The third thing is that probably in general they don't want us to learn any of this stuff because it's inconvenient for them. I'm talking about the system that they propagate us, that you have to learn this way, you have to do this way. And if you want to break of this propaganda, these certain narratives that they say to you when you were a little child, you were just making conscious of life in general, and you've been bombarded with this propaganda that this is the only way to learn this, and you have to learn grammar with doing. You have to learn grammar. You have to memorize these words because you're not gonna learn anything, or you're useful, or all of these kind of propagandas. The way that we used to do things, and so you have to break all of this. How? Just by following my advice, because I'm so specifically that I'm not gonna lie to you. I feel like it's part of my. It's convenient for me because if you watch more my videos, you wanna learn more about this win-win situation because you're getting me some audience to, this is part of my job as a YouTuber to grab your attention, But at the same time, I think that I'm one of the only people of the internet that they talk about this raw without filters, because every channel that they talk about learning a language, they sugarcoat things, They say, this can be found, this, they're not so certain with the word that they use. I'm telling you that grammar doesn't work. It's not gonna work. Not in the future, not now, not in the past. If you want to memorize some grammar, okay, there's no problem with that. But if you really want to learn a language, this is the only channel that you want to be every day, because I'm every day just giving information to you, not just the general information. You have to do shadowing, and it's gonna fix the problem. It's more like I give you this mindset, this personality, this character, that you have to use this mindset, this personality, this identity to learn the language. You have to change yourself, not change the language, not change the method, because the method is not special. You know what it's, you have, so you know what is the tactics now, comprehensive input, shadowing, and all those things. But the things that are gonna differentiate in the person who is learning the language in the right way, in the person who is doing the same thing. There's no differences. The only difference is the mindset. The only difference is here. Is how you see yourself. If you see yourself like a failure, you're not gonna get it. You're not gonna be fluent. If this person fixes their mindset, fix their identity, fix their habits, they're gonna surpass everyone. And this little kid is going to be looking up, and he's going to dream about being fluent, but he's not going to achieve it because he has the same copes, the same mindset, the same poor mindset, the same low self-esteem or whatever. Or they don't have the confidence to speak, to practice English for your speaking skills. It's on to you at the end of the day, but I'm gonna give you all of the knowledge, mindset, specifically more of like the side of self-improvement instead of the specific tactics. Yeah, this is all for the video, guys. Expect that you're being engaged, and if you enjoy this kind of unfiltered raw videos, just subscribe to the channel and smash that button. See you in the comments.